Were you also just as caught off guard as I was when I found out that I had to quarantine once I got to my destination? Or do you know that you have to go through a mandatory quarantine no matter what for 7, 10, or 21 days? Well, whichever one applies to you, in this video, I'm gonna show you how to make the best out of your quarantine. Currently, I'm in Bangkok, Thailand, and I actually got tested positive for COVID the moment I got here, which caught me off guard, but there was no other way to get out of quarantine. So today is officially day 4. I got 6 more days of quarantine, and so far it hasn't been too bad. All right, let's do this. All right, I'm wearing my slips. But if you are watching this before you actually left your home, there's a couple of things that you might want to consider bringing before actually getting to your destination. If you want to play on the safe side and you don't have to go through a mandatory quarantine, but in case you do get tested positive, some of the things that I would recommend bringing from your home are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, Advil, Tylenol, airborne, and tea. And if I can recommend any teas, I would recommend bringing ginger tea, lemongrass tea, and green tea. But because you're gonna be locked in a room all day, you're not gonna have any access to the sun, and you wanna make sure you get your vitamin D in. Currently in Thailand, thankfully, they do have Tylenol that I was able to get from a supermarket, but they don't have Advil. I was able to order extra Tylenol, orange juice, tea, and garlic chips. I have like a sore throat and a toothache, which is really weird. I didn't know a toothache was a side effect of COVID, but whenever I do get sick, I usually drink ginger tea, and that usually helps me a lot. These are my garlic chips. They're actually pretty good. They're just straight fried garlic slices. I would also recommend you bringing food seasonings. I'm currently staying at a Novotel hotel right in the heart of Bangkok, and they don't have salt. I was a little surprised that they didn't have any salt, but at the same time, I don't really know what Thailand is like, and I don't know the type of seasonings that they use. So I ordered salt online for me to actually gargle salt water, because when you do have a sore throat, gargling salt water actually helps a lot. So along with that, this specific hotel, they do offer 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They give it in plastic trays, so I don't really mind using that, but I know that some other people would rather have glass plates and utensils. So if you're one of those people, I would just bring it from your home and then maybe dispose it when you're here, or just bring it back home. And the one thing I would also recommend is to bring yourself a mug. Personally, I drink a lot of tea, water, and coffee, and they only have plastic cups available, and they're not bad. They're kind of small, but I kind of wish I had my own mug. Another thing I do recommend you bringing are grounded coffee beans, and if you have those disposable tea bags, to use that for your coffee. I have disposable coffee bags. I have 2 more of these left. When you open this, it's coffee in a tea bag, and it's perfect. It's amazing for traveling. You use it, you dispose it, and you get your coffee for the day. Another thing that I recommend doing if you know you have to go through a mandatory quarantine is to do research on hotels that you're allowed to quarantine at. Now, where I am, I'm in like a major city, which is great because then I have a lot of food options if I wanted delivery. I just ordered a delivery from their delivery service called Grab. So I just ordered garlic and tea, lemongrass tea, and they said that I could come and pick it up downstairs. So I'm on my way down. Kind of smells. Wow, there's actually a good amount of people in here. But this is really like the only time. So I could only go to G floor. Hi. I can only go to the ground floor level. So yeah, I'm gonna quickly get my stuff, get 2 seconds of the sun, and then go back upstairs to my room. All right. Alright, so I just successfully got my package. So another thing that you want to consider if you do have to quarantine is to consider bringing a journal. Now a journal is going to be your best friend. You're going to have a lot of time to think and drown in your thoughts here in quarantine. So the last thing you want to do is just place circles in your head. So bring a journal, super handy. Top of that, if you want to actually catch up on your reading or start reading, bring a book. Currently I'm reading Atomic Habits by James Clear, and this book has been freaking amazing, and it's actually been keeping me pretty sane during this quarantine. Another thing that you might want to bring is a camera. I have a phone tripod in case I want to make iPhone videos. Here's my iPhone stand. But so far, majority of my time I've just been creating content, which has been really fun, and it's really been making me try to be creative within such limited space. Okay, so those are the things that you want to consider before actually getting on a plane and coming to your destination. Now, the moment you do get into your destination, if you didn't expect to catch COVID like I did, fear not. It's not as bad as it seems like, but just make sure that you do follow all the procedures, because the last thing that you want is to get in trouble. First things first, the moment you actually get into your quarantine room, you want to make sure that you have all your documentations ready, because you're probably going to be back and forth with the doctor and the nurses or the hospital the moment you get here. And obviously you've been traveling for a while, so don't forget to rest. I took about 2 days of full rest before I actually did anything crazy. So just take your time, you're not in a rush to do anything. And if you can, try to get rid of that jet lag. Now, this is going to be your new temporary home. So whether or not you're going through, again, a 7 to 10, 21 day quarantine, you wanna make your room feel as homey as possible. Okay, so in terms of rearranging the room, what I actually did when I got here was that these two beds, they were separate, but I put them together. You can see it. For me, I do like sleeping in bigger beds, so it just made sense for me to put the bedding together, which I think is fine. This was actually back in that corner, but I knew that I was gonna put a lot of my stuff here because the table that I got wasn't so big for my liking. For me, I like space, and it helped that I was able to do some of these things because I wanted like a bigger area here in case I wanted to dance or just stretch or exercise. That's where I do a lot of my exercising. What else? Sorry, I just burped. So over here is my closet, but they actually didn't give me any hangers, so I couldn't hang any of my clothing. But because I knew that I was going to be shuffling in and out of my luggage, I just placed my luggage right here on this like chair thing. And I mean, I don't expect myself to change a lot because I'm going to be here, but the lock, the shelves if I need. I left all of the things that I don't really think I would be using for my luggage out there. Mirror, hey. But yeah, I mean, there weren't a lot of things I really had to rearrange besides the bed and the vanity table. But if you guys also do get sick of your room layout after you do change it, after your halfway mark of your quarantine, I would probably recommend changing up the room again so that you could just have like a different feel of it. But other than that, this hotel didn't really give me much. They didn't give me any hangers. They didn't give me like a pad with a pen. I mean, I don't know if that's really necessary, but I kind of found that valuable. They only gave me shampoo and soap. Thankfully I brought my own shampoo, I don't know. But no conditioner. I mean, I can't really be picky. Besides, I did ask for this hotel and not the hotel that was an hour away. But other than that, that's it. That is it. So again, the reason why you do want to rearrange your room is so that you can feel the most at home, and you do feel homey, because it is very important that you're comfortable getting work done or enjoying yourself and having the best quarantine. Oh, one more thing that I do recommend, that you bring slippers. I think that most hotels are gonna take cleaning very, very seriously, but at the same time, depending on whether or not you like stepping on the floor or if you wear sneakers at home, I would just bring a pair of slippers just in case. I brought my own pair, but thankfully this hotel also gave me a pair. Let me go show you. They actually gave me 2 pairs. They gave everything in 2s. Obviously, I think they assume that maybe you're traveling to Thailand with someone else, but they gave me another pair of slippers just in case that I need these. So after the halfway mark, I might just throw away mine. But yeah, that's it. And they gave plastic bags so you can throw away your trash. This is like the one thing they gave a lot of. And so far, every 2 days, I've been throwing away my garbage because I don't know what else to throw away besides food. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it. After you rearrange your room and you figure out how you want your setup to be like, create a to-do list. Sometimes when you even know that you have all the time in the world, there's gonna be a lot of times where you just continue pushing things aside. What I have done was, thankfully I had little post-it notes. I wrote things down here to cross off. Crossing off is very important. And then in my journal, I have things on my to-do list, and I have been crossing out things by the day. But also make sure that, let's just say your to-do list has a list of 10 things, just day by day, make one thing a priority. So yesterday, my priority was to draft this YouTube video. Today, my priority is to record this YouTube video. Tomorrow might be edit this YouTube video. And you might be thinking to yourself, you have all this time, why are you just doing things day by day? I know myself, and if I do all these things all at once, it just kind of drives me crazy because I also create content on other social media platforms. So there's a lot of things that I'd like to get done, but as long as you have that one goal for yourself and you're able to just take it easy and cross off your list one by one, quarantine is going to go by quicker than you think. Another thing that you do want to consider when you're in quarantine is to make sure that you're getting your blood moving and you're exercising. Now, exercise is so important, especially because you're in a confined place, you're not really moving around, probably sitting on your bed. For myself, I have a list of things that I told myself to do. So every day I told myself that I would stretch for 10 minutes, that I was exercise for at least 15 minutes. I would breathe intentionally for about a minute. And so far, these exercises have been expanding to about an hour of my time. And it feels really good. I haven't worked out like this in so long, and I feel a lot healthier than I did back at home, which is kind of crazy. But exercise is super important, and if you don't really know what to do, or if you don't really know what kind of exercises that you like, I would just Google at-home exercises. So the next thing that you may want to consider to make the best out of your quarantine is to learn that new skill. Take the course that you've been wanting to take for so long. You have all the time in the world to do that now. Nothing is really stopping you. You don't have to report to anybody. You have all the time in the world to finally be an expert at something. For myself, there has been 2 things that I've been wanting to learn. I've been really wanting to learn this new dance that I watched on Instagram from one of my favorite shufflers. This dance, the moment I watched it, I'm like, I just gotta do this. It just got to me. So let's just see if I could finesse this dance by the time I get out of here. This is Kento. He is literally one of my favorite shufflers. I found him when he was at like 3K. And I told him I love his dancing, but I'm trying to find the video right now. This is the video. See if I can do it. Oh, look at him go! Hey! Ooh, so good. I just can't. Guys, do you think I can do this? I have no idea. All right, let's do this. All right. Oh my god. second skill that I actually want to learn is actually how to manage myself. If you have been watching or even following me, you guys may or may not know that I'm actually not the best at management. And ever since I started freelancing full-time, it's been a lot tougher to manage my time, especially since I've been moving around so much. So over the last week or so, I actually have been very intentional about learning about self-management. And I actually came across now my new favorite YouTuber on organization and management, Ali Abdal. He's a very, very insightful human being. Okay, so whether or not you're quarantining by yourself or with a partner, I am currently quarantining with just me, myself, and I, but this gives you a lot of time to focus on yourself, to work on yourself, which is probably something that you've been wanting to do for a while, but you just haven't had the time to do it because you've had a million other things that you had to do and people to report to. But this is finally your time. Take the time to reflect on the past year or the past month, learn about yourself, do things to improve yourself, write things that you want to get better at during quarantine, and then actually execute that the moment you get out of there or start when you're here. And ultimately, through it all, don't forget to own your time. You may be confined in a box, but at the end of the day, the only thing you actually have to lose at this point is time. So you take control of what you want to do during your day with the limited things that you have. But thank God there is technology in this world and there is working Wi-Fi at hotels. And whether or not you were put in a situation where you found out you had to quarantine or you already knew that you had to quarantine, there is absolutely nothing that you can do to get out of it. Every country has different policies and rules. And again, you want to make sure that you are following the country's policies and rules, because the last thing that you want is to get in trouble. Yes, I will say that it can be hard getting out of your head, especially when you're dealing with your thoughts by yourself, but that's why it's so important to have a schedule for you so you have your mind distracted and not focusing on your inner thoughts. These thoughts will come to you probably here and there, but you just got to learn how to fight it off and just own your thoughts, own your time, own your mind. So all in all, these are the tips that I have for you in order for you to have the best quarantine experience of your life. And hopefully you only have to go through quarantine once. I'd also love to know what you're doing during quarantine. Leave that in the comment section below. I answer every single comment. It just takes me some time to answer them. But all in all, I'm rooting for you guys. If you guys got sick and actually have COVID, I hope for speedy recovery for you. But thank you guys again so much for watching this video. I hope this video helped. And again, if you haven't done so already, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe onto my channel. It's free of charge and you can totally unsubscribe if you don't want to see my content anymore. But all in all, safe and happy travels, y'all. I'll see you guys in the next video or when I'm out of quarantine.